Hello YouTube, I'm Snailientologist here to bring you the first of many taxonomy deep dives. Today, I'm going to be taking you through and teaching all 59 described species of mole, the group Talpidae, and I'm also going to be ranking them. Just first off, I'm going to say a lot of these have very small ranges, and there's no pictures of them. So the beginning is a little bit boring, but it picks up towards the end, and I try to keep it light with a little bit of humor. Yeah, so quick disclaimer, I'm not like a biologist or anything. I just have Wikipedia access, and I really like moles. I made this presentation a while ago. First off, we have the skeleton mole, which isn't a real type of mole. I just really want to show you guys how messed up and cool mole skeletons are. They've got the little, like, fused hands. It's really interesting. The first mole I'm actually going to show you guys is the black-backed shrew mole, except I'm not going to show it to you guys because there are no pictures of it. It has no range data or anything, and there's really no proof of its existence that I could find, but it does exist, and it was actually thought to just be the same as the Anderson shrew mole, but then there was a phylogenetic study done in 2018 that molecularly proved that it was a distinct species. Next up, we have two more disclaimers. A, I'm going to butcher so many of these pronunciations, and B, I don't own any of these images. Please don't report me. I'm not trying to make money. I just want to show you guys about moles, because moles are really cool. Alright, back to the video. So the Talisk mole is found in shrublands and temperate rainforests around the Caspian Sea. And then there's the equivalent teeth shrew mole. There are very few sightings, no images that I can find of it. Interestingly, it has an equal number of teeth on the top and bottom jaw, but that number is 9. So like, that's like disturbing to me. Imagine naturally having like an odd number of teeth. Like, do they just have like one tooth in the? I don't know how it works. They have a very small range in China. Next up we have this mole. Euroscapetor. I'm not even gonna try. It's pretty small, and it's named after a mountain. There's a surprising number of moles named after mountains. Kind of goes back to the mountain out of a mole idiom. I think it's fun. And then here's Ognev's mole. It's found surrounding the Black Sea, and it's in the same region as the Levant mole, but they're separated by like elevation. So this one lives in lower areas closer to the water. We have the inquisitive shrew mole. I think that's kind of a cute name. It's like, what's that mole curious about? I couldn't find a picture of it. It has a range in China and possibly Myanmar, and it's the most basal member of the group Europsilus. Next, we have the Snow Mountain shrew mole. It's found near Jade Dragon Snow Mountain, which I think we can all agree is the coolest mountain name possible to imagine. It's the second most basal of the shrew-like moles, but it lost a lot of points because it doesn't have a picture that I could find. There's probably a picture out there somewhere. Then we have the Senkaku mole. It was initially placed in its own genus, but then it got demoted back to the Mogira. And it is vulnerable partially because of invasive goats. Actually, a lot of moles are threatened by grazing animals. We'll get into more of that later. I guess the moles and the ungulates are just natural enemies. Next, we have the gracile shrew mole. No images of this one I could find either. It's also another mole from China. And the black-backed shrew mole and snow mountain shrew mole were once thought to be subspecies of it. And they sometimes eat fruit, which is really unusual for moles. They're usually, pretty strict carnivores. I think it's cute. Next up, we have Orlov's mole, which is very similar to Kuznetsov's mole, and it may have only become a separate species because of the Red River, which kind of like divides the two species. So that's allopatric speciation. Anyway, yeah, that river might be the only reason why we get the Orlov's mole. Next, we have the Anderson shrew mole. Couldn't find any pictures. Super tiny range. You're probably sensing a pattern here. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. This one is named after a man named Malcolm Playfair Anderson, who was an American zoologist, and he died by falling off of scaffolding in a shipyard. So, I mean, that's a pretty cool way to die. I'm not even gonna lie. I feel like he should get a mole named after him. I don't even care that he was a scientist. I feel like if you die in a cool enough way, you should get stuff named after you. Here we have the Davy Mountain shrew mole. Finally, we have a picture. The specimen picture is dead. I couldn't find any pictures of this shrew mole alive. It lives in the mountains in China, in specifically the Davy Mountains. So yeah, overall, nice little guy. We have the Malaysian mole, which is the southernmost species of mole. I didn't realize this. Moles are kind of like a northern hemisphere thing, kind of, in general. It's found on tea plantations, and it's actually so far away from like the other moles that when scientists first discovered it, they were like, oh, this is probably an invasive population of the Himalayan mole. But then they did a little more research, and they found out that it's not the Himalayan mole, and it's not introduced. It's its own species of mole, and it's been there for a very long time. It's a native species. I think that's pretty cool mole lore. The only reason why it lost so many points was because of it didn't have a picture. This mole, which doesn't really have any information about it, but it has a picture. Then we have the Chinese shrew mole, where the only real picture of it is dead, but there's a very cute drawing of it. And it's another one of those moles that's kind of in the same area as another one, but they're separated actually by elevation. So this one is at the lower elevations from the gracile shrew mole. The Echigo mole is endangered and endemic to Japan. The Gansu mole is the closest relative of the Medog mole, and it's found in central China, and it's the only member of its genus. And it has a picture, and the picture is very cute. It's got that long, fuzzy tail. I think it's very cute. The True's shrew mole, it's sometimes called the lesser Japanese shrew mole, and it's also the only member of its genus. Then we have the Japanese shrew mole, which is sometimes called the greater Japanese shrew mole. Then we have the insular mole, which is also known as the Formosan blind mole, and it's found in Taiwan, and on another island, so I think that's the insular part, because it's only found on, I don't know. And it's one of 2 different species of mole that can be found in Taiwan, so that's pretty cool. the Spanish mole, found in Spain and Portugal, and is also known as the Iberian mole. Then we have the Martino's mole, which is found in the Strandzha mountain range, and it's really derpy looking. It looks like Sithislav from Ice Age, in my opinion. Then we have the Mexican mole, which is endemic to Baja California. It's, again, another mole that is at risk from grazing animals, so cattle more specifically. Like, as they graze, they destroy the mole's burrows, which is sad. It was initially thought to be a subspecies of the broad-footed mole, but it's not. It's its own thing. It's unique and special. We have the Caucasian mole. It's called that because it's endemic to the Caucasus Mountains. It's not like a white mole. This mole doesn't think mayonnaise is spicy, probably. It's got a little hairless tail, almost hairless, and it's a pretty generic-looking mole. Yeah, it lives in the mountains, like a lot of moles, surprisingly. Then we have the northern broad-footed mole. There are 12 subspecies, not even including those that have turned out to be their own species, like the broad-footed mole, and the southern broad-footed mole, rather, and the Mexican mole. And they grow, apparently, the more humid it is, the larger they grow. I know that that has to end at some point, otherwise we could just keep giving them more humidity until we have giant northern broad-footed moles running around. I think that'd be pretty cool. Next, we have the southern broad-footed mole. It's another one of those secret species that was thought to be part of the northern broad-footed mole until 2021. So that's like really recently, one of the newer discoveries in mole science. It's smaller and it had a longer skull than the northern broad-footed mole. And occultus, it's not like doing witchcraft and stuff. That means secret, which is fun because it is a secret species. It was hidden within the other one. Then we have the greater Chinese mole. No information on these guys that I could find, but the picture's cute. So I'll give them some points for that. We have Klaas's mole, found in Laos and Thailand, and it's named after Cecile Bowden Klaas, who had a bunch of other stuff named after him. I like this picture, how this guy's holding it like a little, like, Twinkie. Yeah. Then we have Kuznetsov's mole. It's a pretty generic mole, but it has this really cute, in this picture, it's got like this droopy nose. Very cute. We have the short-faced mole, which has this adorable little pink hairless tail. It's the only member of its genus, and it has a pretty short face, in my opinion. I mean, not necessarily the shortest, but we have the Pere David's mole, which is found in Turkey and Iran, and the only picture I could find of it was like squished, and that was really funny, and it made me laugh, so I just squished it even more. And then we have the long-nosed mole, which it has a decently long nose. I wouldn't, if I looked at that nose, if I looked at that mole, the first thing I noticed would not be the length of its nose, but I guess, I don't know, they have such cute eyes, I don't know. It's got a long nose. It's not a misleading name, and boop. Then we have the Balkan mole, which is also known as Stankovic's mole. I can't find out who Stankovic is. Stankovic. He must be really cool to have a mole named after him. I wonder if he's related to Weird Al Yankovic. Probably not. That would be weird. Then we have the hairy-tailed mole. It's the only member of its genus. It has a hairy tail. And it lives in Canada and the US, but its closest living relative is actually one of those moles in China, so that's interesting. I feel like there's actually a couple instances of that. We have the Aquitanian mole, which is named after a region in France, but it's also found in Spain. It doesn't have any external eyes, and this picture is just so cute. He looks like a little, like, rubber ducky. I don't know. Moles are way too cute for their own good. Then we have the Himalayan mole. It's also known as the short-tailed mole, and it's found in Bangladesh, Bhutan, China, India, Malaysia, and Nepal. I think it's pretty cute from this picture. Then we have the small-toothed mole. This picture didn't show me its teeth, so I can't vouch for how small they are, but I mean, I'm sure they're small for it to be called that. It's one of the moles that's probably endangered, but moles are really hard to research because they are under the ground, so it's hard to prove that it's endangered, but it probably is. Here we have the Vietnamese mole. The name means almost tailless. They have a really short tail. And then, well, that's Sabanura. Sabanura is like tailless. Anyway, and then the group that discovered them said that their tail was wart-like, which, I mean, that's a little rude. I think that's mean. I wouldn't say it looks like a wart. It looks like a little, I can't even see it, so maybe it does look like a wart. Maybe it's the wartiest tail any of us have ever seen. Then we have the Levant mole. I can't figure out where the name comes from. It's another mole that just kind of looks like a mole. We have the small Japanese mole. It used to apparently be found in central Tokyo. It's not anymore. It can still be found in the grounds of the Imperial Palace, so that's a fancy mole. We have the Japanese mountain mole. For some reason, like, one of the only pictures I could find of it was on a t-shirt. I guess I should buy that t-shirt. Another mole that looks pretty generic. I don't know why I put this one so high up. I think it's just a cute little mole. Nice name. The eastern mole is also known as the common mole. They can dig up to 18 feet per hour, which, you know, that's significantly faster than I can dig. They're found in Mexico, US, and Canada. And we have Kano's mole. I'm running out of things to say about moles. That's a joke. I can keep talking about moles all day. I'm a big fan of moles, especially because I'm just kind of reading off these slides. We have the Roman mole. The Roman mole was found in Italy, and the wiki page for them is in Italian. So I don't know anything about them, but they're very cute, and they're Italian, so that's cool. Then we have the white-tailed mole, which has a white tail. I mean, it's kind of like a pinkish white, but it's nice. And apparently the bones in this mole's skull are very different from other moles, so that's interesting. Next we have the long-tailed mole, which has a long tail. You know, some of these moles have like pretty medium-sized tail, but this is like a pretty long tail for a mole. I was like, whoa, it's kind of weird to see. And it likes the coniferous forests, so that's nice. Coming up at number 12, we have the Medog mole, the only member of its genus. It's this is one of the moles that is found in Asia, but is most closely related to the North American moles. And it's literally found on the highest mountain in the Himalayas, so this is maybe the highest mole in the world, so that's pretty cool. Then we have the coast mole. Look at this picture. They're just picking it up like a little, like, marshmallow. He's like, excuse me, please let me go. I don't know why he's British. He's found in North America. Anyway, they have this adaptive form of hemoglobin that they convergently evolved with the mole rats. So it doesn't lose its efficiency at lower temperatures, so that's pretty cool. Molecularly superior mole. We have the Japanese mole, Mogira, very fun to say. The size depends on soil temperature, so going back to like the humidity thing, I feel like we should be investigating this as a loophole to get like these giant moles. It's diurnal, which is rare for moles. Most of them are nocturnal. And the Altai mole, I'm not sure if they're actually cuter than other moles or if it's just better pictures of them, but they're absolutely precious. They're angels. The Townsend's mole is the largest North American mole. Here's what gets funny. It's found in the US, and it's barely found in Canada. Its Canadian range is about 8 square miles, which is tiny. And it's named after John Kirk Townsend, who died of arsenic poisoning from the fluid that he used to embalm animals. So be careful, taxidermists. Don't lick your fingers when you're done. I don't know. We have the blind mole, which is called that because it has no external eyes, but it's not the only mole that doesn't have external eyes, so maybe that's not the best name for it. I'm not here to judge these names. It's also called the Mediterranean mole, which makes sense because it is found in the Mediterranean region, and I like them because they look like little marshmallow peeps. But don't eat them unless you're a snake or an owl, or actually a lot of things eat moles, but I don't think humans do. We hunt them for pelts, but we don't eat them. I don't know if any of you have eaten moles. Let me know if they're good. Make me a little bit sad, but I'll get over it. We have the European mole, which is found throughout most of Europe, as far north as Scandinavia and as far south as Greece. They eat half their body weight in food every day. Relatable. And a recent study, actually it's a really funny study, they did this whole big study that basically concluded that they think eating sand is icky, which is maybe the cutest scientific study I've ever heard of. They found out that when they were hunting worms in sand versus regular dirt, they would actually change their hunting strategy so that they ate less sand because they don't like the way it feels in their mouth. They're just like, ugh, spitooey. Super cute. They have got so many points for that. Coming at number 5, we have the American shrew mole, the smallest species of mole in the world, and they're known to eat fungi and salamanders, but like most moles, they like to stick to worms. They have magic lungs, not magic, but very impressive. They can hold 20% of its body weight in air, and they live in small colonies of 12 to 15. They have a whole little mole town, like a Smurfs village, except they would eat the mushroom houses because they eat fun. They're so cute. And then we have the Perinean desmin, which is like the platypus of moles. Look at this ridiculous nose situation here. It's flattened. They're endangered, which is sad. They can close off their nose and their ears when they're swimming because they're a semi-aquatic mole. I should have led with that. They're closely related to the other species of desmin. These ones prefer fast-moving water to slow-moving water. Unlike the other one, we'll see that one in a second. First we have the Ussuri mole, which used to be hunted for its pelt, and it's just really long. It's a long mole. It looks like a little bratwurst or something. They can grow up to 7 inches long, so it's not just like proportions. They're a long mole. They can dig burrows up to 1,500 feet long, and I just feel like if I found one, I know I just talked about not eating moles, but they would fit perfectly in a hot dog bun, even just for a photo shoot. Anyway. Coming at number 2, we have the Russian desmin, which is the species that likes more still water. They are the largest species of mole, and they can be over a foot long if you include their tail. Some people don't actually consider the desmins moles because they are so different in their lifestyle. They swim a lot more than most moles, but they're definitely moles. It's really just people being weird. And they're so cute. They look a little bit like Gonzo, in my opinion, with their big goofy noses, except more whiskery. And they live in unrelated groups, which is pretty rare. I love them a lot. And they would have won number 1, except those of you who are real mole fans will know what number 1 is. You probably knew that from the beginning. Mole number 1 is the star-nosed mole. It has the fastest reaction time in the entire animal kingdom. It can react. It has these little nostril tendrils that has 22 tentacles in total and 25,000 sensory receptors, and it can use those tendrils to react in milliseconds. They're kind of like Cthulhu-esque. They got these tentacles all over their face, but they're so cute. And like the desmins, they're semi-aquatic. They do a lot of swimming underwater. And now you have at least heard of, unfortunately not seen because photos are in short supply, but now you know about all 59 described species of mole. Hopefully that was time well spent. Good luck applying that knowledge in any meaningful part of your life. I haven't had any success applying this knowledge in any part of my life for the 3 months since I made this presentation. That could change. That could change any day now. Bye.